right, what's up, everybody? Good to see everybody. All right, let's get started a little early. It's freezing in New York again. So it is May. I think today's what, May 4th? Tomorrow's May 5th. And it's cold. I think it's gonna rain. It was like only 50 degrees today. Very windy, and I think we're gonna get a little bit of rain passing through the old city today. But hopefully everybody's having a good weekend so far. It's also very windy in the great New York City. 5th Avenue, Central Park South. GM building here, 432 Park. And Trump Tower, all in one shot. Read what's going on, love the beach, fun feeds. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. Solo 401, Richard Vogel, Mary. What's up? Did anybody get a chance to watch the Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting today? It was broadcast on the live stream. CNBC had it up. This is the first shareholder meeting without Charlie Munger, which is pretty wild, right? Pretty crazy to think. You know, those shareholder meetings are sort of like a bedrock of finance, honestly. And to have the first ever without Charlie Munger was kind of crazy, a little weird, but if you haven't had time to check it out, check it out. I think it's well worth your while. You could watch the replay. Tatted T, what's up? DJ review in under 2. Yeah, may the 4th be with you indeed. Two Wheel Freedom says you watched the good stuff. Yeah, and they had a really nice tribute too to Charlie Munger. Now, as discussed, we talked about this before. 2023, we lost three notable names in finance. Obviously, probably the one that most people are familiar with is Charlie Munger, right? Warren Buffett's right-hand man at Berkshire Hathaway. Then we also lost Sam Zell, who was a major player in private equity, real estate, right? They would call him the grave dancer. Big name out of Chicago, Illinois. And then we had Bill O'Neill, founder of O'Neill Securities and Investors Business Daily. Hey Kings, thank you so much for enjoying our videos. We appreciate it. This is a beautiful view of the Plaza Hotel here, right here on Central Park South. This is where the residents go in. Hey, Joe Ratz, good evening, Tom. DM is here, what's going on? New England Crypto, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us on this late night in New York City. So assuming the rain holds up, which I don't think it will, we're gonna try to head down to the West Village yet again. West Village was fun last night. Lots of people out. Lots of people in the city. College is almost out too. All the major universities are probably gonna have their commencements over the next coming weeks, which is good. So assuming the rain holds up for us, that's where we're gonna head tonight. So we'll go to 6th Avenue again. We'll make that left and go all the way down to the Village. Felix, what's up? I don't think I've even logged into the Discord server myself in probably about a year. Now, this is the Park Lane Hotel. I think we've talked about this before. Now, during the pandemic, this hotel was temporarily closed. And they've done a complete renovation on the inside, and it looks fantastic. So if you're looking for a place to stay in prime Central Park, like literally dead center on Central Park South, and you don't want to break the bank, you don't want to spend $1,000 a night, like you're staying at the Ritz-Carlton or something like that, check out the Park Lane Hotel. You could probably get something for like $350 to $450-ish per night, which is not bad. because you're quite literally smack dab in the heart of Central Park South, right next to the Plaza Hotel and a stone's throw away from Fifth Avenue. It's actually not bad at all. For those of you who are new here, usually what we do on Saturdays, we don't have it's kind of our day off, right? So Monday through Friday, we discuss the financial markets, do a deep dive on corporate earnings. Last week was very busy with that. But Saturdays, we kind of just hang out, walk around. It's our day off. We'll explore different neighborhoods in the city. And tonight, I want to go back to the West Village. Sundays are our markets, a look ahead, or market outlook stream, where we go day by day, looking at the big events happening on Wall Street. So this is the Ritz-Carlton, guys. This is the hotel and residences. If you own a unit at the Ritz-Carlton, you would go in the door that says 50. I think they're redoing that lobby, so 50 Central Park South. Unfortunately, a lot of the building is covered in scaffolding, just like everything in New York, but this is prime real estate. You're right on the corner of 6th and Central Park South. I mean, this is prime New York City real estate here. The Ritz-Carlton, New York, Central Park, 50 Central Park South. Pretty cool. Fluid. Yeah, you know, we were thinking about doing that. I believe that's going to come up on I have to create a second channel for that. But yeah, that's a good idea, and I want to do that. Kind of like a behind the desk stream, if you will. This is the main entrance to Central Park, where you have all the horse and carriages, the buggies, if you will. Let's venture in a little bit. We haven't been in here in a long time. Look at these guys, beauties. A few months ago, I took you all the way to DeWitt Clinton Park, which is on the west side of Manhattan, which is actually where they keep these guys when it's time to call it a night. It's like the horse stables right there, near DeWitt Clinton Park, all the way near the West Side Highway. Now this is a cool view looking all the way down 6th. You can see Radio City Music Hall. But look at Billionaires Row here. You have the Steinway Tower, the skinniest residential apartment building in the world. Then you have 157, and it actually looks like there's a lot of people home tonight at 157. That's the first building ever constructed on Billionaires Row. This big guy right here is the tallest building on Billionaires Row. That is Central Park Tower, 217 West 57th Street. That's another Extel building. Gary Burnett is the CEO and founder of Extel Development Company. But the best-selling building on the row is right here. This is 220 Central Park South. This is Steve Roth, or Vornado, and that is the best-selling building on New York City's Billionaires Row. These two towers that you see right here, it used to be the former Time Warner AOL Center. It is now the Deutsche Bank Towers. 25 Central Park West, or I should say 25 Central Park. That is where you have the residences. On the right side, that is the Mandarin Oriental Hotel, which looks like there's quite a few people home tonight. Since we're here, we'll do just a quick review of all the notable buildings for all those new viewers. So these two on the right are very, very notable. Right here, this is Trump International Hotel and Tower, 1 Central Park West. And then this one is the Limestone Building, which is 15 Central Park West. Let's actually go into the park a little bit. It's nighttime, it'll be kind of cool to see. Now, if we go right up here, there's gonna be like this gazebo, but the views are gonna be breathtaking, guys. Look at this. So from here, I mean, look at how unobstructed this view is. That's the Essex House, the JW Marriott Essex House right there. And you can see a little bit more full body of Central Park Tower. It's pretty cool. Brian versus Tom, have you heard all the criticism of 432 Park? What are your thoughts? Yeah, I mean, a lot of those issues have been resolved. A lot of them have been resolved at 432 Park. That's a Harry Mackalow building, so Mackalow Properties. But you know, when you're building that tall and that skinny, there's going to be some structural defects, right? This is kind of like uncharted waters. So yeah, it's true that there's a lot of litigation, a lot of lawsuits, but a lot of these new buildings, even in Florida, you have all those litigations and suits and things like that. So far, so good with Central Park Tower, though. Haven't really seen too many issues there. But man, this is a cool shot, right? And I could tell you the stream really doesn't do it justice. It's like so cool being up here. You can see all the way to the east side of or west side of Manhattan. It's probably a little bit too dark, but this is like really cool gazebo area where you could sit down. It's beautiful. Really, really cool here. And then you see all those pre-war buildings lining Central Park. It's really awesome to live here. This is my old building right here. This one with the gold top right here. That's 106 Central Park South. And there's really a ton of value to be had just living right at the footsteps of Central Park, right? Because you really don't need a gym. You can just walk outside, go for a run in the park, do all your exercise. It's so convenient. And that's why it's, you know, if I had to name my number one, if I had to pick one neighborhood in New York City that's my favorite, 100%, I would say Central Park South. If you ever have the opportunity to live here, on this strip, I would say do it. Absolutely do it. It's worth it. It's awesome. And you're very centrally located. Danny says, you've been to a Knicks playoff game. I haven't. You know, that's one thing I need to do. I need to do a little bit better job of going to some athletics events, right? I mean, we live in the greatest city in the world, New York City, and I never really take advantage. Never ever really take advantage of sports here. Very seldom do I go to the Yankee game. Very seldom do I go to a Knicks, Nets. None of it, actually. I like virtually never go, which is not good. You should take advantage of it. All right, we'll wait for the light here. Alan says it must have rained today. I see puddles. It's gonna rain here any minute. I mean, man, this has been the rainiest season ever. It's been nuts. So. Fluid, I don't know. I would just say that try to find something to work on. You know, keep yourself busy. It's really the only thing I could advise is just, you know, a lot of times when you're working on something and you're very, very focused on accomplishing something or, you know, working towards like a goal, you know, your mind doesn't have time to kind of wander and drift. So maybe just get into like a really regimented workout routine or something like that, right? And keep it in a journal. Or maybe you want to accomplish a new goal at work. Work towards that goal and just relentlessly pursue it. Get sunlight too. I mean, sunlight is huge. Make sure you get enough vitamin D, I guess. I guess most importantly, probably speak to a doctor. But for me, when I've ever experienced kind of those type of issues, there's a few common variables that really came into play in my view. And that is mainly in the winter, when it's dark, it's cloudy, it's gray, and it's cold every single day. And a lot of times you just need to change your geography, right? As Jimmy Buffett said. And I got so sick of it over the COVID period, I'm just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna go buy a house in Miami. And sometimes that's what you need to do. And I know, and I understand not everybody has the means to do those drastic things, and I get that. But maybe you go rent a place where it's warm and where it's sunny. You'd be surprised. It makes a massive difference. Because if you live in a place where every day you wake up and it's raining and it's cold and it's gray, it does weigh on you mentally. And I think there is some science behind this. And again, not a doctor, not a scientist. So, I mean, this is just all anecdotal stuff. But I do think there is sufficient evidence to show that if you live in a neighborhood or in an area where the sun is never out, it's going to weigh on your mental health, for sure, 100%. Me personally, I notice it. You know, when I get back to Miami, when it's sunny, when you wake up, you hear the birds chirping, it's better. So, now this is a very, very cool view of 157 and Central Park Tower. But Steinway is just so unique. Stairway to Heaven building. Steph UF says I could not live up north because of the seasonal affective disorder. I hate it when it gets dark early here in Florida. Yeah, I mean, so, you know, imagine being a corporate worker, right, in corporate America. Let's say you work in banking. You know, say you work on Wall Street, you're pulling crazy hours. Let's say you work in tech. Really anywhere, right? Consulting. And it's the middle of February in New York. You get up, you have to be in the office at 8 o'clock. That means you're commuting and it's totally pitch black. You're in the office all day till 4 p.m. When you get out, it's totally pitch black. You do that every day. I mean, it's a little taxing, to be honest. So I think that's why exercise is important. And hey, if that means you have to hop on a plane and go somewhere where it's warm for a few days, you know, I think that's money well spent. I don't know, any thoughts, feedback on that? Because it's important. I think it's a very important topic. You know, I'm not trying to be dismissive of it. But I also think it's a very sensitive issue. It's a very sensitive topic when you're talking about, you know, depression and things like that, because, you know, that's something you have to talk with your doctor about. Because maybe you do get enough vitamin D. Maybe, you know, everything's good at home and, you know, you're working and everything's good and there's just something else wrong. You know, that's possible too. But in my experience, when I've gone through those bouts, you just kind of have to do like a self-assessment or an audit to say, okay, what are the common variables in my life when I'm feeling this way? And by and large, it's just the weather. So maybe it's just I have a vitamin D deficiency. Maybe a lot of people do too. No, for sure, yeah. I mean, Dee says, yes, I would love to hop on a plane and go somewhere. But being single, it's definitely hard. I totally get it, right? So, I mean, everybody's situation's different. I'm not saying it's a good point, right? Not everybody has the luxury of just, hey, you know, I'm getting sick in New York, I'm gonna hop on a plane. I mean, I totally understand. But I think everybody could get at least 15 minutes of exercise in, things like that, you know? Yeah, Joel PM says, imagine warehouse workers who don't even get a window. That's crazy. I think there are regulations in place. Because I remember, and the only reason why I remember this, and I don't know, maybe it's not, but we have a lot of we had, when I worked in my previous company, a lot of warehouse workers in Nevada. And I think there was like regulations on windows and lights and things like that. Danny says, you in walking distance of Columbia? Me? Yeah. I mean, I'm in walking distance anywhere. I mean, if you want to bang out 30 miles, 20 miles, I'm game. For most people, no, it's not walking distance. Look at this. 220 Central Park South, the Vornado building. Now, you know what else? And again, I just want to keep reiterating, because this is a very, very important topic. These are just anecdotes, okay? This isn't proven in science. This is just what I have experienced in my life. I'm not a doctor, not smart. Okay, now that we've laid that groundwork, again, try reading a physical piece of paper. Like, force yourself for 5 minutes to read the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times or whatever newspaper you're interested in. Maybe it's the Washington Post or just something physical. And when you read it, sit down and read it and like underline what you're reading. It's weird. You feel this, I feel a dopamine hit, 100%. And I think it's you're tricking your mind that you're accomplishing something. And a lot of times if you're reading articles about technology or about business, a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world is very optimistic. So when you read it, you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna make a fortune doing this. Or wow, this is such a great idea. There's so much opportunity. So when you read something, right, force yourself to read something for like 10, 20 minutes. I mean, that gives me kind of the same feeling as if I'm just going for like a 15-minute walk. So I think that's important too. So I'd say get in a routine reading, right? Pick a topic that you're interested in. Take notes on it. You know, I would start writing and just keep yourself occupied, keep yourself busy. All right, we are now Broadway. This is going to be a pretty good dead-on view of Trump International Hotel and Tower. 1 Central Park West. So you could tell the majority of the lights are on from here down. The first 19 floors, or the first 19 stories of 1 Central Park West is the hotel. Anything above that is the residences. So you can kind of see it in the building that the vast majority of the top half of the building is totally lights out, right? Mainly because there's a lot of international buyers in there. Hey, Chuck Rumsford, what's going on? It's Tom. Did you see that the Great Saunter was today? It's a 32-mile walk around the island of Manhattan. I did not know that. So what I did hear is that the 5-borough bike tour is this weekend. So I think there's going to be a lot of stuff closed down, which is, I mean, if you have time to, you know, go out and check it out, I think the bike tour, that's an awesome, I would love to participate in that. Probably need to train first, but you know, another thing that I'll add is I really do believe, because for whatever reason, there is studies that are coming out that says young people now are more depressed than ever. It has to have something to do with the American diet too. A lot of the processed foods we eat in America definitely causes brain fog. you know, definitely makes you lethargic, 100%, right? Again, I'm not a nutritionist, but I could just kind of tell whenever I get into a slump of not eating right, I can absolutely 100% feel it. Like I'm more forgetful, I have brain fog. So I think if you could force yourself to eat clean, like eat really, really well for maybe 1 to 2 weeks straight, you'll probably see a big change in just like mental clarity overall too. All right, everybody, this is the main front entrance of 217 West 57th Street. This is Central Park Tower. That's the other X-Tail building. But right in it is Nordstrom, also called the Nordstrom Tower. I mean, the architecture is so beautiful here. I like this kind of wavy design. X-Tail has always been known for that, right? If you get very, very close to 157 or 157 West 57th Street, has a very, very similar design on the facade that it's almost like a waterfall effect. It's very unique, really cool. Optimus 17 says, Tom, diet impacts mental clarity and overall emotions plus physical health. Danny says, interesting fact, Tom, there's so much sugar in America. So much sugar in American-made bread that it's classified as cake in the EU. Really? That's wild. I didn't know that. That's great. That's a crazy stat. Now, this building, the Osborne, 205 West 57th Street, you got to look at some of the images on Google Images of the interior of this building, all throughout the hallways, all throughout the foyer, right as you enter here, and the main lobby. It's really going to blow you away. It's an unbelievable building, the Osborne Apartments. This place is unreal. Has these beautiful stained glass windows throughout. There's even more higher up you go. Really nice building. Now, I can't wait for the day that all of this scaffolding comes down on Carnegie Hall. I feel like it's been well over a year now that the entirety of Carnegie Hall, the facade, has been wrapped in this scaffolding. The moment that comes down, it's just gonna make 57th Street feel so much wider. And it's unfortunate too, because they're building a brand new commercial building right next to 157 West 57th Street. So they actually have, well, I should say partial scaffolding covering about a quarter of the front facade of 157. Now, it doesn't extend all the way over to the residences though. It only covers the entrance to the Park Hyatt Hotel. When we cross the street, you'll see it a little bit better. This is Alwyn Court. This is another amazing building. And the one right on Central Park South is the New York Athletic Club. All right, let's make this U-turn. And we'll make this left so you can see kind of what we're talking about. You also have the Russian tea room on the right too. Hey, Joe C, good to see you. Now we have these two new listings. I'm probably going to upload a property tour very, very soon, but both of them have these gorgeous solariums. One of them is very, very close to Gramercy Park. It's one of those townhomes that surround Gramercy Park. And in the back, the living room is kind of meshed in with this beautiful solarium. So when it rains, you can look up and you can hear the rain and see the rain kind of hitting that glass roof of the solarium. And the current resident has it set up so amazing where all of the furniture and kind of like the library, the reading room, is wrapping around the entirety of the solarium. It's unbelievable. Big fan of that. So here's exactly what I was talking about. So this, which is 125 West 57th Street, this is going to be a brand new office tower, commercial building. So they had to extend the scaffolding all the way over to cover the entrance of 157, which is the Park Hyatt, but it doesn't yet extend all the way over to the residences. So notice kind of the differences on the facade of 157 and Central Park Tower. It almost gives off the effect that it's like a waterfall down the side. I really do like the design of pretty much every single Extel development in the city. And Russian Tea Room now has scaffolding all over it. And you can see the same exact kind of notes on the awning, the overhang here. It has those ripples to kind of resemble kind of like that waterfall effect. Very interesting. Speaking of solariums, this section of the building right here, right there, there's a current listing on the market, and I think it's one of two units. Well, yeah, it's one of two units in the entire building that have outdoor space. And it's interesting because it's one with the solarium, which is, it's just insane. I think Sirhanth is on the listing. And then the other one is a sponsor unit. It's the only available sponsor unit at 157. And it's a one bedroom. It has about 396 square feet of outdoor space. It's a very cool apartment. I believe if you type exclamation point 57, exclamation point 57 in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link to the property tour of that dedicated unit. It's very cool. Check it out. But yeah, only two units in that whole building have outdoor space. You would think a lot more. You would think more people would want balconies. Hey Patrick, what's up? Good to see you as always. Checking out the Carnegie Hall.
What up?
Look at this. This one's totally sold out. May 10th, 8 p.m. Yu Zhuang on the piano. Wow. Scott says, have I ever been to the Russian Tea Room? I have not personally. Rumor is it's very expensive. I mean, it's for sure a New York icon, a staple, but it is quite expensive. Now, my favorite breakfast spot in New York is called Good Enough to Eat. So if you're visiting the city and you want the absolute best place for breakfast, you're gonna love that restaurant. Trust me. Good Enough to Eat on the Upper West Side. Unbelievable. Now, are the Knicks playing tonight, or did they already play? I also think the Rangers are up on the hot seat too. What's up, Colton Manning? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I think we talked about this a little bit, but for all those people who are just joining, anybody able to see or able to watch Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting today? If you haven't, I would definitely take some time to watch the replay or the recording. This is the first Berkshire meeting without Charlie Munger, unfortunately, but they did a really nice tribute. Richard Vogel says Rangers are playing at MSG tomorrow. We'll definitely have to spend some time around Penn Station tomorrow night then. Used to be the Carnegie Deli right here. The Knicks play Monday. Copy that. Oops, sorry. I feel like that'd be perfect timing if the Knicks and the Rangers in the playoffs same time. I think that's what the city needs to kind of kickstart off the newfound economic boom in New York City. Yeah, he did. He sold, Berkshire sold, I think about, what, a quarter of their stake in Apple, I believe? Right before they launched the newfound $110 billion buyback. Joe C. This is Knicks play Monday versus Pacers, game 1, second round. So how does that work? If anybody could explain it to me. So assuming that the Knicks win, what do they go to the finals or something like that? And then it's a 7-game series? TK Porsche is 13%. 10-4. It's the Conrad. Seems like Rangers or Islanders. Probably Rangers. My rule of thumb, and I know that Rangers and Islanders are both 2 New York teams, but I'm not really that involved in sports, but I always for the New York teams. Whoever it is, if it's New York, you know, we'll give them an extra boost. Someone says, is Apple buyback a bad sign? I don't think so. I mean, that seems like that's what corporations do. They buy back their own stock. And we've kind of talked about this as, this is 6th and a Half Avenue real quick. Not a lot of people know about this, but yes, there is a 6th and a Half Ave right here. But yeah, corporations buy back their shares. If anything, it's technically supposed to be a good sign, right? Because let's think about this logically. Why would a company buy their own stock? Well, it's probably because they think it's undervalued, right? They're not going to buy their own stock if they think the stock is overvalued. Look at how beautiful this is. This is kind of a mini solarium too, I guess you could say. You have the restaurant, but you also have these beautiful stained glass ceilings. Look at this. Danny says to inflate their value. Maybe. But does Apple need to do that? Probably not. No, it's true that Apple is kind of stagnating here in terms of its growth. It's supposed to return to growth next year. However, I think it's important to kind of put things into appropriate context. Apple's still making a lot of money. I mean, net income, or just in general profitability, was like 23, maybe 20. I think you guys reminded me of it last night. I think it was 23.6 billion. And here's the other thing, right? These tech companies, and it's not only Apple, but these tech companies now have so much money, it's almost like, I always keep using the saying cartoonishly ridiculous, right? They have so much money. I think they have more money than they know what to do with, right? I mean, how much money can you pay out in the form of dividends? How much money can you reinvest in R&D spend? And it's not just Apple, it's a lot of these pure play software companies too that just print money. They just absolutely print money. TK Porsche says Apple has repurchased about $500 billion of their shares of the past 10 years. Without that buyback, they would now have about $1 trillion on the balance sheet. Yeah, I mean, there you go with the saying cartoonishly ridiculous, right? That's crazy. Those are just like crazy numbers. Now, politicians have caught on to this. We've talked about this before. That's why you have that new excise tax on share repurchase programs. Because dividends, right, if you pay somebody a dividend, they have to pay taxes on that, right? Share buybacks, if you're just buying your own stock, that's not a taxable event. So, a little bit better tax strategy. Warren Buffett actually wrote in a few of his papers the advantages and essentially the way-offs, right, between a share buyback and issuing a dividend. Hey, Ren1018, what's going on? Caddy says, what accounts for the mass layoffs in tech then? Yeah, it's very, very simple. 2 words: corporate bloat. Corporate bloat. And I think, and a lot of people will find over the years, you don't need all these employees to run these companies. You really don't. Prior to my career that I'm in now, I spent about a decade in tech and telecom. And when these companies are making so much money, particularly in the decade of ZIRP that we're just now concluding, right, zero interest rate policy, these companies were making so much money hand over fist that they would hire like crazy. And then when you had this massive turn in the cycle, right, interest rates going up about 500 basis points, well, companies need to buckle down and trim the fat and get very, very lean and mean. Prime example of this is Mark Zuckerberg's year of efficiency. That was 2023. Zuckerberg coined the term the year of efficiency, where he pretty much laid off about 25% of the company. So I think what you'll notice going forward is that at these big tech conglomerates, these behemoths, it takes a lot less employees to run than you would think. I mean, look at X. I think X is probably the best example. I think Elon laid off over 80% of the entire company. And the platform is the same. It works the same. I use it every day. So it just goes to show, like, what were all these people doing? And you'd be surprised. Many of you watching this stream probably work in tech. and you've dealt with people in the organization that are like, what do you guys actually do all day? You know, and with those layoffs, a lot of people will see these headlines, right? They'll see these headlines of, oh my gosh, you know, Meta is laying off what percent of the company? Tesla's laying off what percent? And they seem like these big, scary headlines, and then they'll see that the stock is up 5% after hours. And people are like, what? How is that possible? They just announced all these layoffs. Why is the stock up? A lot of times it's very bullish for the company. That's because what is, generally speaking, what is the largest expense for a business? It's people. So if you can maintain gross margins and even continue to grow revenue, expand earnings, and maybe even expand gross margins with less people, that is very, very bullish for the company. This is Radio City Music Hall. Joel PM says, I think 4 is the right number for most teams. Anymore, it becomes heavy 80-20 weighted. Troy Atman says Meta was over hiring just to steal talent away from the competitors. TK Porsche says in the last 12 months, Apple did over $80 billion in share buybacks, still held about $54 billion in cash and cash equivalents on the balance sheet. It's wild, wild numbers. And also, you know, when these people, particularly at those big tech companies, get laid off, it's not like they're, you know, getting kicked to the curb without anything. A lot of them get very, very big severance packages. Let's cross over to 5th, because I think this is the danger zone for buffering. We usually start the buffer right here. Danny says Warren Buffett seemed concerned about AI. Kathleen says, will AI lead to job loss or more layoffs? I think so, but again, generally speaking, what you see in a technology cycle is for every job that is destroyed by the new technology, it goes into create 4 times the amount of jobs it destroys. So if it destroys 1, it's probably going to create 4 jobs, right? That's what the internet did. That's what cloud computing did. The thing is, it's very difficult to determine what these jobs are going to be, right? I mean, think about how many jobs the internet destroyed, but then also think about how many jobs the internet created. Just an unbelievable amount of jobs. Now, these jobs are going to require different skill sets, but if we use the past as our guide to the future, you're probably going to have a few things. Number one, yes, you're going to have job loss, but the jobs that are created are going to be really, really high paying jobs, which is really good, which is really, really good. Yeah, someone says it's sad because tech people have a lot of pride in their work. Well, I say this, a lot of times, if you're at one of those cushy tech companies and you're making a ridiculous salary, oftentimes you can get complacent. And, you know, sometimes the worst things that happen to you over the long run turn out to be the best things that ever happened to you. You know, sometimes that layoff will really light a fire under you, and then you go get a job that pays you double, right? Or maybe you start a company. You're like, screw that. I don't want to work for corporate America anymore. I'm going to start my own thing. Danny says, do you prefer teleworking or working at the office? I'd say working at the office. I'd say. I think everybody should do what suits them, but I will say that if you're very early on in your career, you probably should be in the office every day. You know, if you're 19 to, let's say, 27 years old, there's really no reason why you should be sitting in your house, you know, in your room in your pajamas working. If you go into the office, that's how you're going to learn new skills. That's how you're going to grow your network. And then once you do that, you know, once you're, 30, 40, 50 years old, then do the work from home thing when you have kids, right? But when you're very, very young and early on in your career, that's when you need to be kind of treating business as a contact sport. You should be in the office, getting a lot of face time, particularly if you're going to be in the investment banking business or consulting or real estate private equity or whatever, even tech, right? You really should be getting that face time with the higher ups, because it's very, very difficult to develop your career over Zoom, in my opinion, right? And if you look at all the top firms like Citadel, all the top investment banks, they're kind of done now with this work from home stuff. It's like, look, we do our best work when we're in the office. And I kind of agree. Like working remote, yeah, it was cool for a little bit during the pandemic. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna sit in my apartment and I have to wake up early. It was cool for probably about 6 months. And then you get tired of it really fast, in my opinion. I don't know, anybody else have a differing point of view? And this is coming from somebody working in New York City, right? Where the whole value proposition in New York City is to be in the office, be making networking connections and the like. You don't come to New York City to pay $5,000 a month in rent so you could work from your apartment, right? That's definitely not the play. If you're a remote worker in New York City, you might as well just work remote from Florida or somewhere where you don't have to pay any state income tax. It's all about, I think, just utilizing, the best benefit of the city. And the best benefit of the city in New York is the people, right? Super White Shadow says you could get on the market and grab a few beers while you work from home. Caddy says, so all those people demanding not to go back to the office got laid off? I don't know about all of them. I think some of them are probably a little bit more abrasive than others, but look, I think humans are creatures of habit. So once everybody gets in the habit of working remote and you're just rolling out of bed at 9 o'clock and work starts at 9:15, you get used to that. So it takes some time to get used to waking up, going into the office again, things like that. But at the end of the day, everybody should do what makes them happy, right? I'm just saying that if you're young and you're in one of those industries where it's like a contact sport, if you're a salesperson, if you're a banker, if you're a consultant, I would say those 3 careers, any type of sales. If you work at a big consulting firm or you're in banking or the hedge fund business, if you're young, you should probably be in the office all the time. It's interesting because Elon Musk says it's like a moral thing, right? He's like, why should all the factory workers have to go into work, but then all the tech workers, why should they be able to work from home? I don't know if I agree with that, to say it's like a moral thing. I don't think it has to do anything with morals. It's people choose different careers. Like I can also see how it's kind of like bratty a little bit, because there's people all across America who don't have the ability to work from home. Maybe you're driving a truck, right? You can't drive a truck from home. You know, you got to physically be behind the wheel and do the work. You know, if you work at a warehouse, if you work in manufacturing, you have to be on premise. So I get it. I totally get it. If you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams almost every day starting at 8:30. Oh, someone says Dua Lipa is on Saturday Night Live tonight. Well, that explains all the big crowds, right? Deese is not if it's autonomous. It's a good point. That's coming sooner rather than later, right? DM says I preferred to work from the office. I went to the office for 3 weeks, March 2020, after the shutdown, and I did not want to stay home. Yeah, and sometimes, you know, if you go to the office when there's nobody there, I feel like I'm so much more productive when I can just kind of sit in my quiet time and just kind of get some work done. This is the huge line for Adele's Famous. That is some of the best halal food anywhere in the city. Shell says, Tom, it's checks and balances. Some remote workers will slack off if working from home. Easy to fib about the hours, etc. That's also a good point. Ricky says, I was staying at the Hilton Midtown this week. Such a great hotel. That's an awesome hotel. It's just north of Radio City Music Hall. Now, that Hilton hotel, they redid the lobby. So the entire interior of the lobby is absolutely redone. Love that hotel. Wow, this is a pretty excessive line, guys. Look at this. That's probably gonna be 3 hours for sure. That's insane. Look at this. But the food is good, I will say that. So if you figure that everybody orders, I mean, wow, that's a ton of money. All right, let's have some fun here. So it's this one little food cart, right? With all of these people. How much money do you think is just in this one line? Right, not throughout the night, not, you know, an hour ago. Just all these people in this line, total, how much money do you think that's going to generate in terms of revenue? If you say the average ticket price is 15 bucks, the average person spends 15 bucks, what would you say? I mean, that's just, oh my God, I wouldn't even know what to guess. I don't know. 10K? I was gonna guess 10,000, but that may be overdoing it. Nature Calls is 1,000. No, it's more than 1,000 for sure. 5K? Yeah, I think 10K may be overshooting it. I think 5K may be the sweet spot. NNB 45 is 8,000. Yeah, so, I mean, this block is 100. That's probably 200. This is 300. That's 400. Now, what I've seen sometimes is there's one person, like one time I had one guy in front of me, right? And this guy pulls out a piece of paper with 12 orders on it. So instead of, you know, everybody waiting in line, they'll have one friend go and order for all 10 people. Jimmy B's is $7,500. Everybody's pretty much guessing that ballpark, right? Shell's is 6,000. Peters is 15 grand. Ren 1018 says I bet 8.5K. I mean, whatever it is, Adele's famous halal, my God, do they absolutely rake it in. But they deserve it because the food is fantastic. I've had it many times. I just don't have the mental fortitude to wait in the line now. So I used to go during the pandemic, and I would make it a point to go here when it would be pouring rain. So the worse the weather is probably the night to go eat this. I mean, these people are probably going to be here until, my God, maybe midnight, something like that. Anyway, if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video. Click the subscribe button if you're new. This is News Corporation. But it's good to see, you know, everybody out. It's good to see that small businesses are doing well. You know, Adele's famous small business is the food cart. So I'm glad that New York City is returning and they're making some money. So all good all around. Sunshine After Rain says, how do they keep their inventory full being so busy? They have like sprinter vans that bring the chicken, they bring the lamb, they bring the rice. Now, if you're gonna go, okay, so if you're gonna go to Adele's, right, this is what I order. I'll give you my order. I always get a mix over rice, which is the lamb and the chicken, with the spicy rice. So they have two distinct forms of rice there. You can get the regular yellow rice, or you get the spicy rice. You gotta go with the spicy rice if you're gonna wait on that 2.5 hour line. It's very good food. I wouldn't eat it every day, but you know, once a month, not bad. Guys, New York City's Diamond District. This is West 47th Street and 6th Avenue. This is where a lot of the bullion dealers, the diamond exchanges are. A lot of the Rolex resales, things like that. Very famous street here, Diamond District. The main drag is on 47th Street between 6th and 5th Avenue. Hey, Kimberly says, good evening, Tom and chat. What's up, Kimberly? Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Gary says, no lamb. You don't like lamb? I think I like it a little bit better than chicken. Hey Dario, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's see what's going on in, we'll take a little bit of a pit stop. Let's see what's going on in Times Square. Yeah, John says lamb is bomb. Ren 1018 says lamb all day. I really like it. Really like it a lot. It's expensive though to buy it like at home and cook it yourself. Like lamb chops are fantastic, but it's expensive. Very expensive stuff. Is that true? Someone says lamb is better to... Oh, lamb has better diet than chicken? I thought you said digest. Whoa, look at that. Damn, the whole window is blown out. Wonder what happened there. Hopefully it was an accident and not intentional. Now those windows could be crazy expensive. Wow, look at it from the inside. It's all blown out, right? So when I used to work, it's funny that we're talking about this now because I used to work literally right across the street. That was my office. This window right here, that was my cubicle. Right around Thanksgiving, we had this guy. Well, I don't know if it was a guy. Somebody, an entity, hawked a window, hawked a rock or some object at that window, and its spider glass cracked all over the place. And just a single one of those window panes could be $8,000 to $10,000. One of them. That's nuts. So anytime you pass a skyscraper, just do the math. It's expensive. Just for a single pane of glass. Here's a shoplifter. I don't even think you can purchase anything in there. I think it's a box office for Broadway. All right, we may start to buffer in here since it's Times Square. That's true. Someone says it's cheaper when you buy it in bulk. For sure, for sure. Good point. And a lot of this stuff is triple pane. You know, double pane, triple pane glass. All right, there's a lot of people in Times Square tonight. Hopefully that doesn't cause us to buffer. We'll see. Welcome to New York City's Times Square. Now, when I was a young kid, young guy, I used to work right here at this Express. I used to work the midnight to 3 o'clock, the 9 p.m. to 3 o'clock in the morning shift. And I would be restocking, it was called the floor plan. You would restock all of the, the clothes at the end of the night. And that was the most tiring job I've had. I found a newfound respect for retail workers. For whatever reason, that job just took the life out of me. I have no idea why. Working at a retail store. I mean, I'd rather work grueling construction. I'd rather be an iron worker than work retail, honestly. Any former retail workers here that have the same feeling? I would just get absolutely exhausted in that place for whatever reason. All right, let's try to make a little U-turn around here. Try to go right into the where the red steps are, if you will. Optimus 17 says you worked retail at a music store. John says you managed a Blockbuster. Yo, that is so sick. No way, you worked at a Blockbuster. Dude, those are, I mean, what a nostalgic thing, right? I wonder what that must have been like. You must have ran into some kooks. Coming in late night at a Blockbuster. Probably a lot of people coming in half-baked. Ren 1018 says so much respect for retail workers. They also deal with crazy customers and thefts. Oh, dude. I have such respect for retail workers ever since I worked at that express store. That's why if I'm buying something in a retail store, I never, ever, ever give them any problems. Because some of the customers will terrorize these people. Some people are crazy, man. NMB 45s, Home Depot, Walmart, you name it. I did it as a student job. Very exhausting, standing all day. Totally agree. I think that's what it is too, NMB 45, because I'll tell you this scenario, right? This express store is 3 specific floors. So I would have, a little cart of clothes and have to find the right SKUs and line them up in the appropriate places and do that all night from 9 p.m. to 3 o'clock in the morning. I just felt totally exhausted at the end of it. No idea why, but I think it's just from the walking, the standing, dealing with the managers and being on the radio all the time. So, and I was getting paid $9, I think like $9.50, maybe a little less. And this was a long time ago. This was 2014. No, this was 2013. 2013 this was. This is interesting hot dog here. Let's read about it. Let's see what it's about. Strange, right? Hey, Mad Mapper, just forget that I'm an iron worker. Big respect for our iron workers too. I mean, there was a building being built across from us, and it would be the middle of January, and it'd be snowing outside and windy, and you would see the iron workers hanging off these buildings, hammering in these massive steel I-beams. That is a very dangerous job. All right, let's get out of Times Square. I think I've had enough for today. Let's go down and out. Head out of here. Now tonight's a pretty cold night and the city is on fire. I mean, so many tourists, so many people walking around. Very optimistic about tourist activity for this year. Imagine the occupancy percentage at all these hotels. You're probably almost at 100% occupancy tonight. tucked under here. Let's see if we buffer. Who knows? This is the entrance to the Marriott. I don't think I've ever walked here before. Let's get away from that guy. This is the Marriott Marquis, New York. I tell you, I don't think I've ever walked through this corridor once. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Down there to the left.
Oh wow, Solo 401 says I work for a company and had awesome rooms there. That's a good perk. So you got to stay there for free? Seems like the perk of a lifetime. Now, seeing this, kind of what we're seeing right now, right? This is a lot of the Broadway shows, a lot of the musicals here in New York City. From seeing what the city was like in 2020, 2021 during the pandemic, to now seeing it like this. With all these people coming out of the shows, it's really unbelievable. Talk about a total 180. I mean, quite literally a total 180 of what it used to be. Anyone who's been watching this stream for like 3 years, Solo 401 is one of them. I mean, this used to be a ghost town. We used to be skateboarding down the middle of the street, and there was nobody here. Nobody on the sidewalk, virtually nobody. And now, it's like you can't even, it's like shoulder to shoulder traffic on the sidewalk. What a difference a few years makes, right? Yogi, yes, glad I didn't say a total 360. You never know. Maybe they have another pandemic up their sleeve. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Hopefully just kidding. Yeah, but this is a cool little neighborhood because you're headed towards Hell's Kitchen. You're headed towards Restaurant Row, which is right off on 46th Street. Now you guys got to check out this new building here. This is going to be the Torch. So the developer is Extell, E-X-T-E-L-L. If you just go on Google Images and type in the Torch, that big developer Extell, Gary Burnett, is building this crazy building just to the right of me. It's going to have 850 room hotel. It's going to have a drop ride attraction on the top. And the spire is going to be exactly that. It's going to look like a physical torch, kind of like the Olympic torch.
Okay, I'm spending $9 a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, Dario, the Torch. That's correct. Check it out, The Torch by Extell. These guys were complaining that pedicab's charging $9 a minute. $9 a minute. It better cure cancer, right? All right, this is looking down by the Port Authority bus terminal. Oh, Tariq Khan, that's awesome. It says, hey Tom, happy Saturday. It's my daughter Ella's birthday today. The force is strong with her. Yeah, that's awesome. Happy birthday. Big, big happy birthday to you. Hope you enjoy your day on a wonderful weekend like this. Yeah, Tariq was, Tariq was actually emailing me. He said that for your birthday this weekend, he was going to take you, I think he said ice cream or something like that, or anything you want, he's going to get for you. I got to go back and look at the email, but he said something like that. He's going to take you out. I could have sworn it 100% had ice cream in the mix around there, so enjoy that. All right, let's make this left. We're going to go down New York City's Restaurant Row, which should be pretty lively because it is Saturday night. We'll check out Becco, which is Lydia's restaurant. I think it's just starting to rain a tad bit. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, oops, hold on, something's going wonky here. Ah, there we go. Feel free to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. For those of you who are new, Monday through Friday, we walk around the city, talk about the financial markets. Saturdays are kind of our day off, where we explore different neighborhoods in the city, just have a chat and hang out. And then Sunday is our markets look ahead stream. Tomorrow we're probably going to do a little bit of a deep dive into the Berkshire Hathaway meeting that was today. The first one since Charlie Munger passed away. I would highly recommend watching the recording of that. Hey, Trade Brigade, what's going on? This is Hey Tom and crew. Hope you're having a good weekend. Yeah, I mean, today I was finally kind of able to relax a little bit. I was watching some of the live stream for the Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting. The first one since Charlie Munger unfortunately passed. The legend, the GOAT. Here's Becco. Look at that Argentina flag. So when Argentina won the World Cup, I was in Miami for that, which was super lucky. And I mean, oh my God, it was insane. When Argentina won the World Cup, I was in Little Buenos Aires, which was 72nd Street, Collins Avenue. And there were thousands of people in the streets, just parading down by the beach. And I saved, because I mean there was so much stuff on the street. I picked up a flag, Argentina flag, and I have it. And I'm going to save that forever from when Argentina won the World Cup. Probably going to frame it in my office or something. Trade Brigade says we'll have to check it out tomorrow. I use Saturday for the bulk of my weekend market research, and then take Sunday to relax. It's really good. That's a really good plan. Yeah, I feel like everybody needs one day to just kind of chill and do nothing, like physically do nothing. Recharge the brain. Like you, I kind of like to use Sunday to just hammer through just charts and charts and charts and charts. What I like to do is I start on a monthly time frame. I go through everything on my watch list on a monthly. Then I repeat the same process on a weekly. And then I repeat the same process on a daily. Kind of gives you a perspective of kind of what stage in the cycle the stock is in. Because you could be in kind of like an intermediate term downtrend, right, on a daily, but weekly action is just normal. One of my favorite books that I use is kind of like a coffee table book is that Japanese candlestick book. I have this, it's a really, really good book. It's more of a technical, if anybody's interested in more technical analysis. It teaches you how to read, pretty much tape reading. That's like the original tape reading on the street. Japanese candlesticks. Wow, Hell's Kitchen is absolutely packed tonight. Look at this restaurant, Turkish cuisine. Anybody a big fan of Turkish food? Anybody a big Turkish cuisine fan? I like Turkish food a lot. Like kebabs, things like that. Abdullah, what's going on? This is greetings from Argentina. There was more than 5 million just in Buenos Aires City. All over the country, there were 40 million celebrating the world champions. Yeah, I mean, I was so blessed to be able to be in Miami for that. Now, I'm not from Argentina, but I'm a big Messi fan. So I was rooting for Argentina to win the World Cup, obviously. So if you're not familiar with Miami, any of our viewers from Argentina, there's this place that's quite literally called Little Buenos Aires. It's in Miami, Florida, 72nd Street. It's a fun time, really, really fun time.
No, I know. I can't.
It's crazy. I think I uploaded some of the videos on the channel of the celebrations all up and down Collins Avenue. It was nuts, craziness. Good times, good times.
I was getting a picture too because I was like, I'm trying to get out of here.
We check the battery. All right, everybody. Well, I'm gonna have to call it a night a little bit. That guy was flying on that scooter. I'm gonna have to call it a night a little bit early because I didn't bring my charger tonight. But I'll cut you guys loose early. Let's enjoy the weekend, and we will regroup back here tomorrow night, right around 8:30 for the Markets Look Ahead stream. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. May it be peaceful and relaxing. If you're going out tonight, be safe, have fun, and we'll see you guys soon. Subscribe if you're new. Leave a like on the video. Signing off from New York City's Hell's Kitchen. Take care. Sunshine After Rain, John, Trade Brigade, Mr. 007, Solo 401, Out and About from Toronto, appreciate you. New England Crypto, take care. John Sunderland, Bob, Austin City Limits, Tatted T. We'll see you guys very soon. Sharon. All right, guys.